Now, let's think back through the first 4 steps, because you started with somebody you already know. You got back in touch with them online, and then you had a voice-to-voice conversation. You sat there and you listened. You asked them about themselves, and you thought of an idea for them, and you gave them an idea. Once you gave to them, they said, how can I help you? And you had a very specific thing. You said, I want to meet a person at this company, or I want to meet a person like this. And they said, great, let me introduce you. And then it starts all over again. They're going to introduce you, right? You're going to have that voice-to-voice conversation. You're going to listen and give. You're going to be easy to help. And you're going to continue to grow your network if you do step number 5, which is to make it a habit. If you only do this one time with one dormant tie, you might meet one new person and your network will grow. But then you've got to keep doing this. You've got to keep reaching out to dormant ties. You've got to keep setting up voice-to-voice conversations. You've got to keep listening and giving. You've got to keep being easy to help, adjust who it is you want to talk to, who you want to meet, what you want to learn. But you have to find a way to make this a habit. You have to get started doing this, and you have to find a way to do a little bit of this every single day or on a very frequent basis. And, one of the ways you can do this is by making it very small. And what I mean by that is, don't think you're going to reach out to 10 people a day, because you probably won't, and you'll get overwhelmed and you'll stop. Reach out to one person a day. Okay, this is based on a concept called tiny habits. And I came across tiny habits many years ago. Dr. BJ Fogg from Stanford is the person who came up with it. He wrote a book called Tiny Habits. And his idea is if you're trying to create a habit, make it so small to get started that it's impossible to fail. Like he would say things like, if you want to start running for exercise, don't say I'm going to go out and run 5 miles, because even if you can run 5 miles, you're going to be so sore the next day that you're going to not do it again. Don't even say I'm going to go run a mile. Don't even say I'm going to go outside. Say I'm going to put on my running shoes. Like that's the smallest first step you can take. And once you do that, you kind of use the success, and it feels good. And so you take that momentum and you go, okay, I'll walk outside the door and maybe I'll run to the end of the street. Or he says, floss one tooth if you want to start flossing your teeth. And it's like, why would I floss one tooth? It's like, because you can't fail at flossing one tooth. So you're going to floss that one tooth, and then you're going to be like, oh, might as well do 2 teeth, or just do my whole mouth while I'm here. The goal is to find a way to make this smaller, right? So remember when we got to the part of the number one objection was, I don't have time. It's because people think they're going to have to spend hours going to meetings or events or contacting people. It's going to take them hours out of their week, and they just don't have time. If you make it smaller, and remember, I said 1% of your day, it's easier to get success. And if you have that success consistently, your network is going to grow. Now, why 1%? 1% is 15 minutes out of a day. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. So 1% of that is just under 15 minutes. So I just say, spend 15 minutes a day sending a note to a dormant tie, or writing a list of dormant ties. Or once you've written the list, however many you can get in 15 minutes, tomorrow, come back and send a message to as many as you can in 15 minutes. You don't have to rush, don't have to hurry. All you have to do is commit to 15 minutes. And then they'll start to respond. Now, over time, you might have to have an hour-long networking conversation, but so what? That's what you were trying to do. That's networking, right? But break this down into the smallest steps you possibly can to get started, and be consistent with it. Because if you're consistent with it, you don't have to reach out to 10 people a day. You just have to reach out to one. If you did that every weekday, take the weekends off. If you did that every weekday for a month, you would have reached out to 20 people. Not all 20 are going to get back to you right away, maybe half. So now you've got 10 people that you're having maybe a voice-to-voice conversation with, or, you 10 people you set it up with, 5 you have conversations with, and maybe 2 or 3 of those can recommend somebody to connect you with. Okay, you just met 2 new people who you've already been recommended to, who kind of come with some sort of implied trust that you're somebody they should know. Okay, so you can see how this kind of starts to build up. And then actually what happens is you find you do more than you think you can, and you start to get more responses, and you start to get more appointments and conversations. And then you get to a point where you're like, I have too many people talking to me right now. I'm networking too much. Great problem to have. I'm networking too much. Okay, dial down how many messages you send out. dial it back, right? If it's getting overwhelming, you control this, but you got to get started. You got to make it a habit. Make it a habit. You're not just someone who networks, you become a networker. It becomes a part of your identity. And when you start doing this, this is when the opportunities start showing up. You're going to start talking to people who you're now top of mind whenever some opportunity comes up, and they connect you with it. You're gonna be like, I don't know where this came from, but all of a sudden you've got lots of opportunities.